Hey class, hope you are all doing good. All right, so notice real quick, we are at week 9. The reason that's kind of significant is there are 18 weeks in the semester. That means at the end of this week, we will be halfway done with the semester, all right? It's always a good idea when you're halfway through just to pause, take a deep breath, look at your grade and see how you're doing in this class, okay? A lot of you are doing great, so I don't want this to come off as like I'm being all discouraging, because if you're doing good, that's great. Keep doing what you're doing and you're in really good shape. But if your grade is not where you need it to be, definitely if you're failing, and like if you know there's a certain letter grade that you're probably going to have to make in here to get into whatever nursing program you're looking into, if you're not there, look at your grades and see what the issue might be, okay? So if it's exams, like if your exam grades are low, look at kind of evaluate how you're studying. Am I watching all of those lecture videos? Am I taking notes? Am I waiting until the night before to really study, or am I spreading it out over several weeks? Because that's what you have to do in here. There's so many terms and everything that if you'll study a little bit all the way along, that's much better than trying to cram the night before. All right. So if that's the exams, look and see what you're doing. If you, excuse me, if you're missing assignments, like if you're not doing the Connect assignments, I know I sent an announcement out a couple weeks ago about that. There are way too many students that just aren't doing those, okay? Those Connect assignments make up 10% of your final grade. So that means if you don't do them, you can count on your letter grade being one lower than it should be if you had actually done all the work, all right? I've got a few students, I just had to send out a batch of messages for students that have not taken some of the lab exams or maybe the lecture exam. Got several students who have not done any of the exams. This should not be like a surprise at all, but obviously if you don't take exams, you can't pass the class because that's where most of our points come from. So almost kind of like your last chance to check and see if you need to make any changes, because after a while there's just so many points that start to add up that it can be hard to really improve your grade after you've got several lower grades in the past. All right. You can still do it though. You can bring your grade up significantly. We've got 3 more lecture exams. We've got 3 more lab exams. That's a lot of points, and you can really improve. Just make sure that you make any changes if you need to do that. Okay? So send me a message. If it's something that you know, okay, obviously I'm not doing the work, that's why. You can fix that on your own. But if you're really struggling, you're like, I've done everything I know how to do, and I'm still not doing as well as I need to, send me a message and let me know. I can, we can look at the way you're studying. I can check your assignments. I can look and see if you're watching the lecture videos. I'm not trying to be your parent and like get you in trouble because you're not doing your work. But just if you need some help being honest with yourself, if you did bad on the first lecture exam and I look and you didn't watch any of the lecture videos, that would be something that you need to fix. All right. So we can do it. We can improve. Just let me know and I can try to help with that. Okay. This week you have exam 2. So lecture exam 2 is on chapter 6 was the integumentary system and 7 was the skeletal system. We've split that up into part 1 and part 2, right? So that is going to be on Monday and Tuesday, the 12th and the 13th. Just make sure you set aside time to do that. Remember all the rules with the Respondus Lockdown browser and all of that. Make sure you are paying attention. I know I say it every time. I'm sorry that I'm stressing out so much over this. But there's been issues with cheating and things like that. And I've mentioned before in 201, I don't play around with that, because if you cheat and you get a high grade, that means that you're getting into the nursing program when someone else who actually did the work on their own didn't. Like you beat somebody out for cheating and that made them not get into nursing school. So just follow those instructions, show your environment, show your surroundings, make sure you're paying attention, like looking at the screen when you take the exam. All right. So that's going to be up Monday and Tuesday. Just make sure you do that. I'll have those grades reviewed pretty quickly. And then remember, a couple days afterwards, any of the Learn Smart assignments that you've done, and that's just a reminder, if you haven't done that, you can do the Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 Learn Smart assignments. After I get a chance to review all the grades, I'll add those bonus points too. So that can help. We had our first skeletal lab exam last week on the skull and the vertebrae. So next up is going to be the appendicular skeleton. That's your arms and pectoral girdle, and then your pelvis and your legs. We're going to start learning all those bones, and this week we're going to do the upper appendicular. So shoulders, collarbone, and then all of your arm bones. I've got that video recorded, so make sure you watch that. That's another thing, just a quick update on the lab exam. Again, just like last time, really, really good grades, but there were some fairly low grades in there too. So just be honest with yourself. Did I watch the lecture videos, or sorry, the lab videos? All right. I know you've got labeled images, like I made a PowerPoint of labeled images for you, and those are really good to help learn. But if you don't know what those parts mean, that's what I explained during those lab videos. So if you didn't watch those last time, start watching those now. All right. That's the other good news of the reason I'm splitting these up into smaller tests is if I just gave you one big 100-point bones test and you bombed it, it's too late to fix it at that point. But if you struggled on that first bones test, now you know what to expect, you know any changes you got to make, and you can kind of redeem yourself on the second bones test. Okay? So watch that. That'll be available starting on, I'm actually about to record it right after this, so starting on like Saturday, it should be up and available. Watch that. You have a connect assignment for the bones of your arms and shoulders, so go to the connect tab, click on that, and do that assignment. And then, all right, the other really big should really help you out. This should be a huge grade boost if you are struggling or if you like did a little lower on a test than you wanted to, is your first 2 lab kit activities are going to be due on Sunday the 18th, all right? At the beginning of the semester, I sent an email about you have to order the lab kit. I know like one of the first couple weeks, one of the assignments was you needed to watch the video I made for the lab kit assignments. And then a couple weeks ago, I sent you a reminder. So hopefully everyone has their lab kit. You've got it ordered. You've got it in. The first 2 lab activities, some of you have even turned them in already, but the first 2 lab activities, one of them is on chemistry, pH, and buffers. That's all stuff we talked about at the beginning of the semester in Chapter 2. The next one is on cell structure and function, so we're going to look at how our cells function, and more information. That was what we covered in Chapter 3. So both of those are due on the 18th. As soon as you get your exam out of the way, I would shift over and start working on those lab activities if you haven't done that already. I was going to type out like the instructions for how to do the labs, but I'd started it and it was going to be like a page document that was really long. So I just gave you some quick notes here. Go to the lab kit activities. And if you haven't done this already, make sure I've recorded a video that says using lab kits in biology 201. So watch that. It'll give you the very quick overview of how to do the labs and how to set all that up. There is a lab safety contract that you have to do. I'm not going to grade your lab until you do the lab safety contract. All right. So it's just a document you have to read through. If you have any questions, send me a message, but then you'll electronically sign, which just means you type in your name, and then submit that contract. All right. After that, you can go through and find lab manuals. Those are the instructions on how to do the labs. I added a note there that there are a few items you're going to have to provide, things that most of these you probably have laying around your house. But I want you to go ahead and look at the items you need to provide. That way, if you need to run to the grocery store early in the week, you'll have everything you need when you're ready to actually do the labs. Okay? One more quick, and this is actually a really important note on this, is in both of these labs and in all the labs we do this semester, you are going to have to take a picture of your lab results when you're done. In that picture, you have to have a sheet of paper with your name and the date. Make sure you include those, okay? That is like the proof that you actually did the lab. If you don't include those photos, you are not going to get full, if any, credit for the labs. So make sure you do that. Include that in your results, okay? All right, sorry, that's kind of a long week this week, but we got a bunch of points. We got a bunch of assignments, the exam, and then those lab assignments at the end of the week, and the Connect assignment. All right. Have any questions on any of that, let me know, and I will be glad to help. Thank you.